So, Melody, I heard that you have some tips since we've been talking about service and getting work done, some tips on how to maximize that experience.
Oh, yes. This is specifically at Toyota. Maybe I'm going to be telling you guys something that you already know, or maybe I'm saying something that Toyota doesn't want me to say. So, Toyota, if you're listening and you want us to take this down, you just have to write us and let us know and we'll take it down. I think for now, this might be common knowledge, but I'll repeat it for anyone who's new to the Toyota family. They don't know how it works quite yet. It's really similar with other car dealerships.
You have tuned in to Remote Trails Radio, where your hosts, Garrick and Melody, take you off the beaten path into the world of overlanding, life in the Pacific Northwest, and whatever the heck else we feel like chatting about. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's hit the trails together.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode. I'm Melody.
And I'm Garrick.
And you're listening to Remote Trails Radio. Welcome. We have another big episode. We are talking about quite a few things today. One of them will go through one of the coolest PNW group and one of their events, Logalog or Lagalog. We're ruining it here. I don't know how it's pronounced, but they're amazing. And either way, I guess we should have asked them when we were there. Yeah. Best buying practices. I'm going to be asking Garrick for his advice. This time it's with cargo drawers. Then Garrick is going to talk to us about one of his many adventures that he took to the Kitsap Peninsula. And lastly, say it again?
It's just the beginning. Adventure season's here.
And then I'll be briefly going over getting the most out of your Toyota service each and every time.
Heck yeah. All right. Let's do it.
All right. Garrick, do you have any updates from one of our previous episodes?
I do. It's an annoying one to give. This is going back to episode 40, which is the last episode that we recorded. In it, I talked about how I had an issue from snow wheeling. I had cracked a rim and my steering was a little bit off. So I took it to the shop and had him take a look to make sure, because I could actually see, I was able to go underneath and look and see that the tie rod was bent, because it like I could only see the boot of it. But just by looking at the boot shape was all messed up. So I was like, ooh. Yeah. I was like, it's probably like real bad under there. Yeah. So at that point I was like, okay, well, it wasn't just a rim. It's also the inner tie rod. Is it anything else? So I took it to a shop to take a look over and see if there's anything else wrong with it. And sure enough, it had totally broken the inner seal of the steering rack. So I had to full on replace the steering rack.
What? You had to replace the steering rack also?
Yeah.
You couldn't just replace the seal?
No, apparently not with the inner seal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I've had really a lot of bad luck with snow wheeling. It always seems to be there's something hitting under the snow, and my car's just a magnet for whatever that is hiding underneath the snow. So I am officially retired from snow wheeling. I'm just done with it. It's not fun enough for the amount of money that it costs to repair the damage that's caused from it.
Wow, so your snow wheeling career is officially over. I guess I've unofficially done that too, because I can't do it. I can't do it. I get stuck way too much. Then I feel like I end up doing recovery for other cars too, and it's a lot.
Yeah. If you want to work out, it's a great workout. That's your thing. You're walking back and forth between stuck rigs and you're carrying all this gear and then you're shoveling, and yeah. It's most certainly that.
Yep. Well,
but yeah, as far as snow sports go, I feel like there's more fun things to do in the snow, like skiing, for example. So I think I'll just stick to that.
That's a great idea. And then you only have to be in the snow for parking or for getting to and from on a paved road.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. So you feel a little bit poorer right now, probably.
I do. I am almost ready for the upcoming season. I've been trying to buy a rim off the Facebook marketplace, but the pickings have been pretty slim. Everybody wants too much and they all want to sell a set. I had one guy who was parting out a 4Runner. I contacted him and I was like, hey, what would you sell for one rim? And he's like, $40. I was like, cool. Are you available this Sunday? And then he just ghosted me after that. So I was like, okay, that's weird.
Oh, weird.
And then I tried buying one on eBay and I was finally like, screw it. I paid like $90 for one on eBay. I was like, I'm just going to have this done. I won't have to keep scanning the marketplace anymore. And then I'll just
Whoa.
be ready for the season. Everything will be fixed. Well, then I got an email from the seller today. I was like, we sold that a year ago. We don't know why this listing was on eBay.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it's like, what is going on?
Get
Not
out.
get a rim to save my life. Yeah.
Is it any special rim or is it like OEM for the model?
Well, it is the OEM, but obviously from like the 90s, so they don't make new ones of those. There is a new old stock on eBay actually, which is kind of interesting to see because it's so shiny and new, but they also want $375 for it. So nah,
Oh
that
man.
would make all my other rims look pretty bad.
What is
in
your fifth
comparison.
wheel? Is your fifth wheel on a regular rim or it's on a Steely?
No, yeah, I think Forerunners they're all just have their spare on a Steely. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I've been
Bummer.
rocking one Steely, showing it off for a while since March, I guess.
So what are you going to do? What's your plan?
Well, there are other eBay listings. I just have to scan again and see one that looks okay. This was the only A grade one that I could find, so it's kind of a bummer. But if I'm being honest, the rest of my wheels aren't A grade anyways, so I could probably get by with a B grade on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably going to beat it up quite a lot.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that is that.
Sorry about that.
Thanks. It's all good. Some lessons I've learned the hard way, and most of mine are. How about you, Melody? What have you been up to lately?
Well, it's something that we both did. Went to the Log Spring meet and greet.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this one because this is such a cool group. I've been meaning to go out with them for, I want to say, a couple years now, and I haven't been able to. So this is really lovely to come to one of their free events. Log, they're on Facebook. They're like a community-oriented group, and they seem to be able to handle a large amount of vehicles really well.
Yeah.
So I love to see that. Like they had you register because they were giving away prizes, and I kind of gave them an idea of how many cars were going to come. All you did was register your name and your license plate. And then what they did was they had a meeting spot nearby at the local grocery store. And then they sent everybody off in waves, which I thought was really nice. It was like around 10 cars at a time, I think.
Yeah. Which actually, going back to our previous episode, we were talking about trail etiquette. That was exactly what we said. It's if you have a larger group, then you split up and do waves. So I was really encouraged when we met up and they had that plan. I was like, okay, these guys, they know what they're doing.
They've done this before. And we were part of the last wave, and we didn't feel like we got terrible spots either because it was such a large site. They were out by Cleolum Lake. And at this time of the year, the lake is so full. And we're used to going there in the summer where it's a little bit more drier in the north part. But yeah, that campsite was really amazing. You could either go for the day or you could go overnight. So I went for the day and Garrick was there overlanding overnight. And it was great. They had such good weather. And the lunch was provided, which was insane. They basically brought these ginormous takeout trays full of food and invited everybody to come eat with them, which was really cool.
Yeah, lunch and dinner were actually provided. It was technically a potluck, but there was just so much food that
I was going to say, did you
wild.
throw in your dumplings? What happened?
I did. Yeah, I made my dumplings and I was very happy because they were all eaten. So they went over well.
Did a good thing.
Yeah. It's dumplings. It seemed like a pretty easy contribution because they're just frozen. You just kind of have to heat them up essentially. So
Nice.
it works out pretty easy. I did want to comment about the sites though, because we were kind of up a little bit higher than everybody else. And a lot of people had the lakeside spots, which were great.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the water level was not static.
What? Wait. I thought that was I guess I thought that was a dam-fed lake.
Yeah, it's a reservoir. So I guess the water was actively still flowing into it. So it was rising.
Oh, no. Really? Because people were like parked right up to the shore.
Yeah. So at one point, one of the sprinters, the Band of Brothers sprinters, he had to move because like his back tire is like fully in water. And his way of getting around was that he had to go further into the reservoir. So he boated his way out.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I was feeling real happy with the spots that we were up at.
Up there on the hill. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's terrible. Oh my goodness. That's so rough. You thought you had a good spot and then you didn't.
Right.
Goodness.
But it was jumping back to the food. Oh my God. That food was so good. There were so many options.
I was going to say, did a lot of people bring different food at dinner?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was multitudinous. And then there was, I think I made just made that word up, but yeah, there was so many options. They were all so good. It had me wishing that I had more space in my stomach just to try more stuff. It was amazing.
Oh, that's so good. You know, at lunch, I don't know if I told you, but I was one of the last people for the buffet. And so I'm kind of like looking at everything, and I'm pretty much taking a little bit of everything because I'm not too familiar with Filipino food. And so
Mm.
this was like my chance to try everything. And one of the women behind the table said, "Ooh, you don't want to eat that." She pointed to the thing in the pot, and I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, okay." And she said it was like blood something. And I was like, "You're right. I'm good." Thank you very much.
Yeah, that it does help to have somebody to kind of give you tips. There's a guy that was named Rich that was in front of me in line, and he was giving me tips as well. And he's like, "Oh, you got to
Oh,
try that. You got to do that."
nice.
I was like, "Okay, cool." Even
Oh,
though my
that's
plate's already like
nice.
double stacked, I'll start triple stacking it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I ended up winning a great prize at their raffle, which was very unexpected.
Yeah, big
They
winner.
were, I guess they were sponsored by Open Road 4x4. And so Open Road kindly had quite a few pretty pricey prizes. I think I was so surprised that my name got pulled. I was sitting kind of in the back watching everything, and I had boba in my hands. And then when they called my name, I just ran up with him in my arms, and I was like, "Oh, wait, I can't take this giant box with this dog in my hand." But we received it, and Garrick, you helped me out. Thank you very much for taking the weight.
Sure thing.
That was so fun. Okay, so what else happened after I left besides people being drowned in the water?
But yeah, so they actually had a bunch of games for the kids. They had
Oh,
piñatas, and beyond just like candy, they also had prizes for the kids. And so the kids were pretty busy with all that. But yeah,
very
then
cool.
we had the dinner, which again, like when they had served us lunch, I was like, "Oh, lunch is the free meal, and then we'll just do our own stuff for dinner." But
A
no,
potluck thing. Oh,
yeah, like
okay.
dinner was even just bigger, just a bigger version of lunch, which was amazing. And then after that, as it got darker, we had a giant bonfire on one side, and then a second gathering of people were doing karaoke, which was yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. They had a full on projector set up with the karaoke machine and everything. So basically, like the same machine that they were using during the raffle to announce and have the loudspeaker that became the karaoke setup.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah.
When we were setting up, they were making jokes that some people had 2-bedroom condos. So I can see that.
Right. Yeah. No,
Oh.
that was another thing, like all the rigs there and all the setups. There's so much
Mm-hmm.
stuff going on. I remember you and I were kind of drooling over somebody's hammock that they had because that was quite the
Yes.
cool accessory to have.
Yeah, I almost pulled the trigger on that last year when they first came out with it, and I'm kicking myself a little bit because it's gone up in price about $200 since
Mm,
this whole tariff thing has gone down.
right.
It's 1,100 now to get the smaller one, and it's a lot of money for an awning. But it also wasn't proven; it had just come out, and most of the people that I reviewed it are somehow related to the company. So this was nice to see somebody demonstrate it. There was so much cool gear to look at, and it was just a really good time. I feel like it was a lot of good vibes.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to throw a curveball in here. I know that we didn't plan this today, but
Ruh-roh.
I'm going to throw you a curveball, Garrick. Okay, so I need help with a possible buying decision. And I think you might know something about this because it has to do with drawers in the
Okay.
Forerunner. Okay,
Mm,
so I know you've got the plate and you've got the whole goose gear thing going on. I did look at them also, but I was interested in a low profile drawer system on the bottom of the Forerunner because in the fifth gen, it has about 2.5 inches of cargo space where you have to level it out anyway. So, leveling out
sure.
and being able to sleep in the car, you actually have to waste this 2.5 inch amount of space that right now it's taken up by a Walmart folding table. It's
Got it.
very modern. And so I was thinking if I get a drawer system, then that would solve my issues. The more I was looking into it, I found a system that I really liked. And then when I dug into the company,
Hmm.
I have to make a fake name for them. So we're called them Killer Deals.
Okay.
And so this company made a really cool product. So it's essentially mostly wood with carpet, and it bolts down to the 4 bolt points in the back of the 5th gen. And not only do the drawers pull out, but the whole top pulls out. So it's basically like an entire cargo slide that you can
Oh
pull the
yeah.
whole thing out, which makes it really nice because if anyone here has a 5th gen, you're like constantly leaning over that back bumper in order to get anything into the trunk. It's kind of a pain in the butt. When I started looking into this, it's like family owned. They brag about lean manufacturing, and they're like, okay, well, because we're family owned, it's a great product, and here's how we do it. And they have a very detailed social media page. But then you dig into the reviews, and it's not good. None of it's good.
Okay.
So they say that if you're buying it, they're really attentive. And then once you buy it, the lead time goes crazy. It goes from 4 to 6 weeks to 8 to 9 weeks. They'll send you part of it, not all of it. If you have an issue, they don't respond to you. If you cancel it on your credit card, like you try and get your money back, then they'll contact you to try and make it right. And they're not part of the Better Business Bureau as a company. There's nowhere to complain about the business. And so what people are ending up doing is trashing their reputation in order to get back all that time they lost, trying to chase them down by phone, by email, by Facebook. I wanted your advice because there isn't anything else on the market like this. There are no knockoffs of it that I can find. And I would love to buy from the original company. That's the point, right? Is you buy something innovative from the company that designed it and makes it. However, I don't want to be trapped into waiting for something for 9 weeks where summer's coming up and I really want to put this drawer system in to make my life easier. What would you do?
I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Oh.
Now, I would watch the used market for it, right? Because that could be a potential way to still get it.
I didn't even think about that. That's smart.
Yeah. But no, after going through the goose gear experience, like I understand the goose gear is not cheap, but you get a lot with that. Like the customer service is just top notch. I was really impressed by the lead time was super accurate and like that they were spot on with it with that. And then I had some questions afterwards, even though it had nothing like the issues I had, like the sound that I was hearing had nothing to do with their stuff at all. It was entirely my car, but they were like there and ready and trying to help me and trying to come up with ideas what it might be. Yeah. So some things are just worth the price, right? And I think a company's reputation, if they're not putting the effort in to hold on to that, then they're not going to be a company for very long.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. That's really good to know. Okay. Maybe I'll hunt the used market and then try and find a different one. The reason I liked it is because it's so low profile. It's almost as if you're not giving up any headroom in order to do this. So then I started to look into what am I going to be putting in these drawers? And what I also wanted to talk to you about was we talk about recovery here a lot on the show. Most of the photos were of people putting recovery equipment and fire extinguishers inside these drawers. And I don't know about you, but I have been in a couple situations where one, my hatch didn't work because it was off camber. So therefore the electronics don't allow me to open the hatch at all. And two, I'm backed up against a tree or something difficult where I don't have room to, one, open the hatch and pull out really long drawers to get my recovery equipment. Like I learned the hard way that you've got maybe one of all 5 doors that work in a recovery situation. So can you get to your equipment physically with only one of those doors working? And that's what I kind of liked about this killer deals system was because besides the drawers that pull out, there was a compartment in the very center, just behind the back seats and at the back of the cargo where you could lift up that flap. And there was that huge center area where you could put your recovery equipment.
Oh, interesting.
They don't advertise it, but it just seemed like a perfect place for my recovery gear. And I just want to caution anybody that has those drawers, and let me know if you agree, Garrick, but I would absolutely not put essential recovery gear in drawers that are only accessible from your hatch.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah. All my recovery gear is on one of my top boxes. So the only way I'm not being able to access those is if I'm upside down, at which point I don't think it would actually help me all that much anyways.
I think I would just use the drawers for like things I would need at camp, like kitchen equipment. And then I was thinking, okay, well, my stove is, I measured it. It's like a basic Coleman stove. I think it's 4.5 inches tall,
Okay.
which means I can't get the 2.5 inch drawers if I want to put like cooking equipment in there
Yeah.
because they pull out and they turn into tables.
You can put plates and stuff like that, though. So I don't know.
Oh, that's true. And maybe food, or I'm rethinking maybe I need to do the 5 inch drawers, which then it opens me up to more possibilities of suppliers in
Yeah,
that case.
it's unfortunate. Like once you see those things in real life, that kind of lets you know what you actually need. Some people have done like they take cardboard and then use cardboard to come up with a mock of it and then get an idea that way in a three-dimensional space of what it would be like. So that could be an option for
Mm.
you. But one thing I did want to point out is that AirB does not have something like 2.5 inches, but they definitely have some low profile drawers. And not
Okay.
only do they have low profile drawers, but they also have that top cargo slide out availability too. They're called roller drawers, I believe. So it's probably not going to be the way AirB designs their stuff is that the drawer systems themselves are kind of generic, but I do know that they offer specific accessories to those drawers for popular vehicles. So your Ford Runner would definitely be one of them. I'm almost sure that they'll have that. So that'd be a worthwhile thing to check out.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for all these recommendations. I'm going to
Sure
go back
thing.
to the drawing board and see. Because even at 5 inches, are 2.5 inches really going to throw me off when I'm trying to get headspace? I already like can't really sit up in there anyway. So would it really make a difference? I don't know.
Yeah, when you're sleeping in your rig, Intro 2 can really make a big difference. With my sleeping platform, I wasn't sure what height I was going to have that at. Thankfully, the sleeping platform, obviously, it's adjustable, so I was able to figure it out. But it turns out that once I set it up, I was like, oh, I definitely want to have this at the lowest possible height I can reasonably have it at, which
Okay.
is basically because of how I have it shoved into the side of the rig. One of the spots where you can put a leg doesn't even have a leg. I just have that resting up against the wheel well, essentially.
Okay.
And I also can't sit up either, but even just having that a little bit just made a big difference.
Yep. Like I get dressed in my car when it's too cold. So summer's no problem. You get out and you do your thing and you walk around. But in the winter, or if it's cold, I'm definitely changing in the car.
Yeah. Actually, so along those lines, what I found when I've slept inside the car with a platform like that is that having the space to sleep is nice, but also if you can have a little spot where you can push yourself around and have room for your feet, that is a major bonus, the usability of the space.
That's a good thought. That is a really good thought. Lots to think about. Man,
Yeah.
I thought I was done with this build. I don't know what I'm doing. What it just keeps going on and on.
You can never truly be done, even when you think you're done.
So, Garrick, what have you been up to this weekend?
I'll talk about one that I did actually 2 weekends ago. Maybe I'll string in this weekend's as well. But yeah, so I have this concept right now of mini adventures, or what I call camp and recreate, where it's the shoulder season, right? Like we're in spring right now. And usually this isn't prime time for camping. It's been unusually beautiful weather lately. And of course, like it's beautiful right now as we're recording because that's just how it works every time we record.
I was thinking that today too.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, so like the idea is like it's shoulder seasons, whatever type of recreation you like to do, be it hiking, mountain biking, fishing, shooting, whatever it is, find somewhere that's like a little bit further away than you would go for a day trip generally, and decide where that thing is, and then look for camping opportunities around it. For me, that's been kind of nice because it's opened up an entire area of the state that I usually don't consider for camping. And that has been like the Kitsap Peninsula. Because with the Kitsap Peninsula, there's not a lot of dispersed camping opportunities out there. It's mostly just campgrounds, right? And it's gorgeous because they have the Hood Canal and the sound all around it. And it's like most of the campsites are on the shorelines that are just absolutely stunning. But during the summer, they're booked, and it's really hard to get a campsite there just because people are booking way in advance. But when you do it during this time of year, I can just get on and book it that same week, which is wild to me.
Oh, right, because it's early season.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I did. I decided 2 weekends ago that I wanted to use my mountain bike because I hadn't mountain biked in a little bit. I used AI to help me out because I was like, hey, I need some ideas that I haven't done myself, right? Because I was like, I've been mountain biking and I have these go-to places, but I want to do something new. And so I was like, what are some options where I could go a little bit further afield? And one of the options it suggested was Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park. And Port Gamble is sort of on, I guess, the northeast side. It's Kitsap Peninsula is kind of a weird shape, so it's hard to say exactly, but it's kind of in the northeast corner, if you will, of the peninsula. And it's actually not very far technically by mileage from my house, but because there's the sound in between Seattle and the peninsula, it's either I'd have to go all the way down to Tacoma, then all the way back up to the top of the peninsula, or because we're Washington and we have the Washington State Ferries, I can just go up to Edmonds, which is, I don't know, like 20 minutes from my house, and then take the Edmonds to Kingston Ferry. And then once I'm off the Edmonds to Kingston Ferry, it's only like 20 minutes from there to Port Gamble. So it's actually pretty close, which is nice. And also, that's another thing, too, that's great about doing it in the shoulder season is that ferries can be a real bottleneck, too, during the summer. Sometimes there'll be like huge waiting lines and you'll see one or two boats go by before you even get on the boat that you're going to be on, right?
Been there.
Yeah, yeah. So that can be a little depressing. But here it's like you just show up and then you're on the next boat that comes in. It's
Nice.
so nice. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the pattern that I have established. Is pick your recreation, pick a cool site that's a little further afield, find camping near it, do in the shoulder season. It's everything's easy. And if you're lucky like we are right now, maybe the weather will work out for you too.
Right? I feel like
Yeah.
we could go paddleboarding right now too. It's like warm enough.
It's yeah,
70
like yesterday
degrees.
was like mid 70s. It was totally summer. It was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Go us.
Yeah.
I guess we can't talk bad about Seattle too much on this podcast yet because it's not really been too bad this spring.
Yeah.
We're taking a break. It's Melody jumping in to say we're hanging out on Instagram if you want to keep up with the Overland nonsense. And if you're on Apple, Amazon Music, or Spotify, go ahead and download the episode so you don't lose us. All right, back to it.
I had a couple of comments after the camping experience at the Kitsap Memorial State Park. It was only about 5 minutes away from Port Gamble. So that was actually like the perfect little setup for getting to the trails.
Oh, cool.
It's a really small campground. Like they only had one loop essentially, but it was nice. It had almost all of them. It had a great view and shoreline access. And they had a few hiking trails there, really tiny little trails, but they had them. And I was like in the smallest site because on this one, they actually only had one spot available because it was such a tiny campground, but they did have one available. And I was like right next to the camp hosts. Just one person, it was fine. But the weather had turned on me. I had booked it on like Monday for the Saturday, Sunday camping. Ooh. Yeah. And so when I booked it on Monday, it was saying like, oh, Saturday's going to be gorgeous. And then Sunday's going to be wet. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just get there real early, ride during the day, and then I can just chill out at camp that evening. Well, by the time it arrived, it had totally turned, and then Saturday was the wet day.
Oh.
And it was like basically raining until 6 p.m. So I pivoted, which is something you also have to be able to do if you're camping in the shoulder seasons, right? So my pivot was, okay, I get to camp kind of late, and then, hopefully the rain chills out, and then I ride on Sunday because Sunday ended up being the gorgeous day. And that worked out. But because of one thing that I brought with me, and that was my awning. I have brought this awning.
Car awning.
Yes, the car awning. It's the Moon Shade by Moon Fabrications. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I bring that shade with me on so many trips, and it just sits in the car being unused. And then you get this thought in your head, you're like, why do I even bring this? What's the point? I'm carrying this, schlepping this inside and out both times. It's taking space the entire time, and I'm moving it around to get to other stuff. It's like, why do I do this? And then then you have this one day. I had that weekend where it was raining up until 6, and it wasn't even bad rain. It was just kind of a drizzle. But like when you're at camp and it's drizzling, that drizzle accumulates, right? And it's just not fun to be in. But you add a shade like that, and then suddenly it's not an issue. Like you just hang out under the awning and it's great. So that really saved the trip for me. Yeah. The other thing that I noted from that was that I had been saying that I really love the fridge slide that I have, but also was of this opinion that it was really a luxury and not something I necessarily needed. I am now in the camp that I don't know how I got by without this thing prior, because I had my hitch rack for my bike, right, on the back of my rig.
Okay.
And having that reminded me when you mentioned leaning over your bumper into the back of your 4Runner, how inconvenient and annoying that is, doing that lean.
Yes.
So with this, I would have had to do that lean every time. But now I was able to just like pop it down, pull it out, and it's just there and everything's easy. And yeah, I basically just leave it like that. It's like I pop it down, pull it out, and I don't push it back in until I like close up the hatch for the night, essentially.
Yeah. Yep. That does sound lovely. I have my fridge for my car in the backseat passenger. So it's a little bit easy for me. I just open the back door and there it is.
That helps, yeah.
So I never thought about doing that, but I can see how if my system was a little different, I would rather it not be in the back seat. I would rather it be under the hatch. So yeah, that would be clutch.
Yeah. It's also great like when you're like when you're driving in between locations and you have your rig packed up. So you might stop for lunch and but you still have all your camping gear back there. So instead of having to like shove camping gear off to the side and lean over to get it, like you can just push the button, pull it out, bam, easy access. And you're not like fighting the latches against the stuff that's in there. So yeah, it's pretty dang cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I love this idea of these mini adventures, camp and recreate. It's a good different way to think about it, especially like you said, trying to find a different way to use the shoulder seasons to your advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and everything's easier. There's fewer people, fewer waiting, fewer lines. It's awesome. So definitely check it out if you can. I wanted to give a couple notes about the Port Gamble Park that I biked at. It's actually a really massive mountain biking park. It's not just mountain biking. People hike in. I think there's horses are even allowed there too.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't love horse trails being shared with biking.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, like horses get freaked out by the bikes, and then the bikes have to ride through horse crap. So it's just like I just feel like they should just have their own trails, and we should just have our own trails and not mix them. But it is what it is. Thankfully, there weren't. Yeah, thankfully with this one, there's so many mountain bike trails. So if you're a mountain biker, you don't even really have to go onto the horse trails, anyways. So in fact, I recommend staying away from the horse trails and let people enjoy those for the ones they do have. But they have a huge cross country trail network there, which is my favorite because I'm on an e-bike. So going up and down is not as problematic as it is for people that are on regular bikes without motors. Okay. So I just like going around exploring on that. But then they also have like a actual like skills training area where they have a number of named trails that they're actually kind of short. They actually had one called Melody, which I sent you a photo of. And that was like a flow trail, which actually was actually a pretty fun one. Nice. But then they have jump trails and like rocky trails. And then they had this whole section of drops, and each drop was like a little bit bigger of a drop than the other one. So they had 4 of them in the drop zone. I was willing to do up to the 3rd, like the expert level one, but I wasn't willing to do the double expert. After having done the regular expert, I was like, oh, okay, that's the edge of my comfort right there. And I think we'll just stop with that. It's a really impressive network they have that's really well kept up. It's kind of random that it's out there near Fort Gamble, but it's great. So it's definitely a gem of mountain biking here in the PNW.
So after your injury, how does your clavicle feel about all this? Do you think about it? Is that in the back of your mind? Is that
not even a little bit? Yeah, not even a little bit.
Wow, you're totally over it. You're like, that didn't even happen.
Yeah, no, I have so many other pains that are way more problematic than my collarbone.
That's the trick. Have something else more painful, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Got it. Okay, that's the secret. Understood.
Yeah, no, if I could have like surgery to have my like upper neck pain go away, that would be fantastic. I would have that surgery in a second.
Okay. I have a lady for you if you need some body work. She's kind of like one of these healer body work people. Anyway.
At this point, I'll try anything. So
okay,
yeah,
I'll send her
my way. Sweet.
Oh, speaking of people, so you know how I sent Yuzu away to boarding school, right? So she went away for a month for board and train. This was against my better sage advice from my alternative, another approach kind of behavioralist trainers that are very the positive trainers. I sent her to board and train to a balance trainer. And that does get a bad rep because e-collars and kind of negative punishment and things like that. So I made sure that this lady didn't do any of that. And Yuzu has come back. She was barking her head off at everything. Like even the upstairs neighbor. Okay, I don't know what they're doing if they're walking with like lead feet or something on the ground. It is really loud. It is like a surprising thud. She would bark at that. I was okay with that. However, she would bark at everything on the street, from the balcony, at work. She would bark at people walking by. She would bark at anyone trying to do work. She was like, don't do that. She was crazy.
Yeah. Alert.
It was stressing me out like a lot. So I sent her to board and train for a month and she came back. And man, this dog, she barks with a purpose. She does no longer bark at everything. She will bark if Boba barks. She'll be happily joining that train of barking.
Well, he's doing it, so
yeah. Gives her the okay to do it because he's the
cool.
elder, right?
Yeah.
Or if she just hears like some random noise that she's really not used to and it's very out of the blue, then she'll bark. But it is definitely like vastly improved. So if you're thinking about something for Ryder, I don't know, I have a feeling it would help him out a lot.
Yeah, he needs it. I did have him on that camping trip. Oh gosh, there were lots of things to him. Yeah, and specifically at the Kitsap Memorial, there were lots of kids just kind of riding around on bikes. They're just being kids. They weren't doing anything crazy, but Ryder had to go crazy. Like he had to bark at everything at all, even just like adults walking by casually. So he ended up spending most of the time in the car just because that's all I could do, like to try to insulate him from the triggers. So yeah he needs some help.
Yeah, I felt like with Yuzu, she was just really stressed all the time. She was always like on alert. What's going to happen? Yeah. And so I felt like that was not good for her mental health. And now she's a chill dog. I can put her in the crate. I can have her on the couch and she's chill. She's just like looking, she's observing, but she's not doing anything crazy. No internal like fear or anything.
Yeah, so that'd be nice.
That's nice.
Because I know when I drop off Ryder at the boarding, because I actually just boarded him this weekend because I had such a bad weekend experience 2 weekends ago with him. And I pick him up and it was like, oh, he's like the sweetest doll and totally chill. I was like, I don't know what dog this is, but I'd like to bring him back home with me.
The report card is like A+.
Yeah.
Best dog ever.
Yeah, just totally adorbs. Sweetheart.
Okay, Garrick, it sounds like the problem might be you.
Well, I think he thinks it's his job to protect me. And I was like, dude,
he is.
Look at me. I'm being chill. Why are you not chill?
He's your protector. He's, man, this guy's too chill. I don't know what he's thinking. Everyone is out to get him.
Maybe he knows something I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I still can't bring Yuzu to work quite yet because she does whine for attention. So there's that. She's like sitting there and she's like, Bubba won't talk to me and I'm alone and you're not constantly feeding me treats. So it doesn't work out yet, but it will maybe someday.
All right. Here's hoping. So Melody, I heard that you have some tips since we've been talking about service and getting work done, some tips on how to maximize that experience.
Oh yes. This is specifically at Toyota because I've spent the last 8 years bringing my car in every 5-ish thousand miles. And I don't know if this is very well known. Maybe I'm going to be telling you guys something that you already know, or maybe I'm saying something that Toyota doesn't want me to say. So Toyota, if you're listening and you want us to take this down, you just have to write us and let us know and we'll take it down. I think for now, this might be common knowledge, but I'll repeat it for anyone who's new to the Toyota family. They don't know how it works quite yet. It's really similar with other car dealerships, but Toyota, I know specifically. So I'll go through it. And Garrick, you have a ton of experience too, just at a different dealership. So you can let me know if you know this story. So when you go in for service, each service rep, these are the guys and gals that stand at their stations. And when you bring your car in, one of them will come out and help you. So each one of these service reps, they're working with a certain mechanic team of techs. That means that if you work with this one service rep, then that mechanic team is going to be taking on your car and working on it. So if you want that consistency, then you're going to want that same service rep every time. But if you just go in randomly, you're going to get a random service rep, and you may or may not get the same mechanic team of techs to work on your car. Now, if you've ever looked back there, there's a lot of teams, right? So, yeah.
Well, but you can see how many podiums there are. Well, at least at mine, how many podiums there are for the various reps. So, yeah. And actually, along those lines, I've always had the same rep unless the rep has moved on to a different job.
Oh.
And the way I do it is that they text you updates, right? So because you're getting updates through text, whenever I want to schedule service again, I just send a text to them because I know it goes to that same rep every time.
That's a smart way to do it. Yeah. Once you find someone that you like, I would say stick with that person. Even ask them, like, who's your tech team? They'll tell you who the master tech is, and then you know who's working on your car. It just creates a familiarity. And also, each of these service reps, they are sales reps. They are on commission. Each of these guys are selling you a service, and they're putting their commission on top. So it's not unlike other sales reps. They are all there to make a commission. And when you bring it in for an oil change or a cheaper service, they're going to be so sweet to you because they want to earn your trust. So then when you bring it in for a big job, hopefully you choose them to bring your big job to, like a steering rack. Okay, so you might be thinking, like, how do you find a good service rep to start with? And who can you trust? Okay, so probably the best thing to do is ask a friend, right? But what I did when I started looking around, because I had moved, so then it just wasn't as convenient to bring my car to the same dealership anymore. I called around to the two that were closest to me, and I basically asked them, which service rep has the most experience with off-road cars? That's what I want to know, because his tech team is going to have that experience too, and they can talk to each other in the same language.
Nice.
So even though Toyota sells off-road cars, you'd be surprised how little somebody may know about that actual car, the ins and outs of that car. So you want to be speaking the same language. So that's one thing I recommend. Do you have any other tips on that, Garrick? You just got lucky.
Well, I got lucky and then unlucky. I got lucky from the first. Well, so I got lucky in the first part because, like, I bought my car and actually brought it to Toyota to just have them like look it over and see if it needed anything. And I got a guy named Mike, and actually it was like, this was deep in the pandemic, lockdowns and whatnot. So he had just moved from a different dealership to the Lake City one. But it was clear that he understood what I was going for, where it's like, hey, I've got an old rig, so I don't want to polish everything. Like, I know the exhaust system's not great, but I don't need to like throw in a $4,000 new exhaust system. I only want to make sure that I'm replacing the things that need replacing within the context of it being like a 25-year-old rig. There's certain things that are like mission critical that I definitely want to make sure are ready to go and then are not going to let me down in the backcountry. But there's also certain things that are just not quite as important of upgrades, like the exhaust. I bring up the exhaust specifically because at one point the exhaust was throwing a code on me and I brought it in, but Mike wasn't in that day. So it was this other rep rather, that was handling me. And he's like, oh yeah. And he looked it over and he's like, yeah, okay. Well, it looks like you need about $7,000 worth of upgrades.
God, of course.
I paid about $5,000 for this car.
So you totaled it.
Yeah, right.
I'm done.
But no, so having that understanding of him understanding like what I wanted out of the rig was definitely helpful. The other tip I have, though, I picked this because it's so close to my house. Like, it's literally like a block and a half from my house. But I looked and I compared it to other shops that were nearby. And other shops nearby that were not dealership shops were cheaper. They were about 10% cheaper. But Mike told me, it literally came from the service rep. He told me, hey, if you're a Costco member, you can do the Costco auto repair program. And you basically just go to Costco's site and then you'd be like, oh, I need repairs. And it has you put in your zip code and then your brand. And then here's our representative shop in that area. And for me, it happens to be Lake City Toyota. And that made them actually cheaper than the other shops in Lake City. So it was like, that's a done deal. Plus,
that's great.
I'm curious with yours, but at least with Lake City, they have the 1-year Toyota repair guarantee, but then Lake City ups it to 3 years. So anything I get fixed, if there's any issues with it in 3 years after it's been repaired, they'll just fix it. Yeah.
I've never had to discuss length of time. I always bring my stuff back if there's a problem. They always look at it without issue, without cost. if
Okay.
they've done
That's
it. If
good.
that's the same
Yeah.
team that's done it,
Mm.
then I'll bring it right back to them.
Yeah.
To say,
That's
hey, can
good.
you look
But
this over one more time? If there's something wrong or it's throwing a code or whatever, and then they will absolutely look at it.
yeah, well, that's good. But I like having it
Yeah.
kind of contractually written
Yeah,
down
that's
and
nice.
uh,
Oh, I should ask about that. I do know that Costco only works with certain Toyotas. So they do not work with the Toyotas dealerships that I've been to,
oh,
which is
interesting. Okay.
unfortunate. I can
Yeah.
keep looking to see if they've created that partnership, but I don't think so.
Gotcha.
I do know, though, that if you bring coupons from any dealership into your dealership to your rep, that they will take it because they're like, oh, yeah, that's a pre-agreement. If it's like a $50 oil change, they'll take it. So that's one way to get a nice deal. Those are some good tips. Yeah, I have the very similar situation where I have the same rep every single time. And if it's not an urgent matter, I will book when he's there and I will have the same team. And he gets me. He knows that I do a lot of work on my own car. So
Mm.
he will tell me what I need and then he will leave it up to me and he'll price everything out separately. He'll give me a deal if I do a combo, right? But he'll price it out separately and say, hey, you need to do XYZ or whatever. And I'll tell him stuff that I've already done in advance. Like I do a lot of my own fluids and stuff. So I'll just tell him I did it. And he'll be like, okay, cool. And mark that off as do not
Nice.
bother her again about that kind of thing. So it's good. Yeah.
Nice. I did realize I didn't tell the unluck part of me.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
right.
Mike moved on I think it was about a year ago. He moved on
What?
to a different place. Yeah.
Oh,
So
how dare he?
yeah. So I've actually gone through 2 different reps since. So we'll see. The current guy seems all
Okay.
right. Like he's very responsive. And this last deal with the steering rack, I was asking him a lot of questions because I was trying to do everything to avoid doing the steering rack. So I had like very specific questions about him and like conditions and how I could get by with maybe without having to replace it. And he took all my questions very seriously and was like, hey, we're not going to make you do this. This is just a recommendation, but this is why we recommending it and what we've seen where other people have had similar situations. And like they had the seal broken and then that introduced problems within the line. And so because I'm lacking for terms here, but because the fluid had basically become unclean, that actually ended up like ruining the pumps as well. And then so they ended up screwing over the second steering rack that they had replaced, right? So then they had to get a new steering rack because the line was not clean. So that's why they recommended replacing basically the entire system.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big ticket. Well,
yep.
What I would say is that there have been a lot of questions on Facebook on Overlanding USA, like, oh, which Toyota do you guys take your vehicle to in the PNW? Which one can I trust? And it's like, well, there's a lot of people that work at each one of those dealerships. It's hard to say like, oh,
True.
well, this whole area is great. You can trust all of them. I find that is not true. There are definitely service reps that I would not trust, and there's definitely service reps that I would trust. So I think creating that relationship and getting to know that person and getting to have that tech team familiarize themselves with your vehicle, it goes a long way. Also, I know it's a very mentally taxing job to be in service. And they get yelled at a lot all day by people that are really angry, frustrated, spending money on their vehicle they didn't expect.
Sure.
They don't want to be sold all these issues or told about the issues. They just want to get their car out for no money. And so I think just at the very basic level, being nice goes a really long way. If they like working with you and you like working with them, then it becomes a great relationship full of trust. And I just like that for all the little things, like, oh, I'm having an issue. Can you guys look at this? Or, oh, yeah, we worked on that last month. Let's have a look. And if nothing, they'll just send me on my way, which is great. So some things to go above and beyond. You can bring coffee. You can bring them lunch. These guys are working at this desk all day. You can bring them a 6-pack if they're over 21. But yeah, not uncommon for people to build great relationships and bring small gifts to show appreciation.
Nice. Yeah, I like that more than what I was going to suggest is where if you don't have friends that can kind of point you in the right direction and you want to do a little sneaky test, whether you got a good set of mechanics or not, is you can replace the air filter in your rig right before you bring it in for whatever service. And at least at Toyota, they give you like the little sheet of how everything's doing. Like it'll show like your tread depth of your tires and stuff like that. And they'll have like yellow, green, and I think red. So if you're green, you're good. If you're yellow, it's like, yeah, you're getting close. And red, you need to handle this now. So if you put a fresh air filter, which is like one of the easiest things to possibly do, you put that in right before you bring it in, and you see if it's checked as green. If they're on the level or not.
Nice.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I haven't done that in 8 months. Better do that.
Oh, it's time. Yeah. It's definitely time.
Oops.
You should have done it right after the end of the summer season, ideally.
I did. And I haven't done it
Okay.
since because I feel like I only do it when I see it. If it's really dusty in the cabin, then I'll change it out. But yep,
if it's been over the winter, you're probably fine.
That is a good tip. So yep, if you are bringing your car to the dealership and you want a really super positive experience and go in with a positive mind, treat everyone well. They're going to work just like you are. So yeah.
Nice.
Well, I think it's time for random recommendations. Garrick, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I recently watched a movie that has gotten a lot of accolades, so probably a lot of people have already seen it. But it's Sinners.
What?
Sinners, the movie.
Okay.
It sounds
I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's I avoided it for the longest time because it has the name Sinners. I thought it was going to be one type of movie, right? Adultish type of movie,
right?
But it's not that. Not really, anyways. It's actually a movie about 1930s Mississippi, like blues scene, and it has a supernatural element to it. But it's a fun movie. The music is amazing because of the whole blues scene stuff, and then the supernatural element is really fun, and it has music from different eras that's kind of drawn into it. Oh, Ryder decided to make a
hey Ryder.
He didn't want to be outdone by Yuzu. So yeah, no, it's a really fun movie. It's headed up by Michael B. Jordan, who actually plays as two brothers that are twins. So that's kind of fun to see. I will say, I'm not sure if the twin element is a big part of the plot, but I found it a little hard, even though they had different hats they wore and whatnot, but I never knew which one was Smoke and which one was Stack. I was like, okay, they're two different characters, but they're the same character because they didn't have like terribly different personalities or anything like that. But it is important that they're twins to the story. It was kind of fun because the directors clearly had a little bit of fun with the fact that it's one person playing two people. So when they first introduced Smoke and Stack, they had this little routine where one like has a lighter and he's kind of doing some stuff and he hands it to the other one, does something, lights a cigarette and kind of flips it back and he catches it and does that stuff. So it was probably pretty challenging for them to record that, considering it's the same guy doing it as two different people, but pretty fun to watch as a viewer.
Okay. Where can we watch this movie?
So I watched it on Amazon Prime Video. I don't have the special extra Prime. I just have regular Prime, and I was able to watch it without having to pay for it, which is pretty nice.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yeah, but it is a movie, so it's, it's actually showed in theaters and whatnot. So it's probably wherever you get your movies, they probably have this available, either for rent or if you have Prime, it's just available.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you, Melody? What's your random recommendation?
I don't think we've talked about Costco enough, so I'll talk about it again. Sorry, I was late today because I had to go to Costco to pick up a prescription, which is, I'm not sure why this is on prescription, but I had to go pick that up. And then I couldn't get out of there in time because I smelled pizza. And it's not that like I love their pizza or anything, but I love the smell of pizza. So I ended up having
pizza. Yeah.
I had to get a couple slices on the way out as well. So my random recommendation, and I don't know if people know about this because I only found out about it a year or two ago. And then when I mention it to people, they don't seem to know what it is. So I am recommending, it's a drug. I'm recommending Zofran. And Zofran is essentially a tablet that dissolves in your mouth that gets rid of nausea pretty instantly.
Wow.
So like I said, I don't know why it's on prescription, but through my insurance, it's like $3.50 to get 10 tablets. And it's worth it for me because I'm going to be traveling soon. And sometimes you get an upset stomach. You're drinking water you're not used to. You're eating food you're not used to. You're eating out all the time.
Sure. That would have been really handy after going back to my clavicle after I had that surgery, because they had me on some drug that made me very nauseous and it was awful. So,
oh no.
It'd be nice to have one drug to combat the other drug.
I was going to say, maybe I should keep some in my car too, just in case if a ride along is with me and it's really bumpy and their stomach gets upset. And you can get kind of queasy after a while if you're not holding the wheel.
Sure.
So,
Well, I'll throw in a bonus Costco tip while we're
okay.
at it. Hopefully they still have it, but I was there recently as well, and I saw that they have World Cup gear there. So
Oh,
I got a USA jersey from them for
oh,
$15 or something. Yeah.
wow. Really?
Yeah. Yep. And they have
Oh,
other countries as there as well. I think I saw in Argentina and Brazil.
whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. I was like laser focused to the pharmacy, to the pizza, to the car.
You kind of
Maybe I
have to
need
be,
to.
otherwise you could just spend all night in
I know, right?
Costco.
Maybe I should slow down a little bit, do some shopping. Oh, cool. Well, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
You didn't say that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. That's a lame way to do it.
If you want to get in touch with us by email, let us know what you think. remotetrailsradio@gmail.com.
RTR, over and out.